going on, Jerome's? So the Monday after the final Sunday of the NFL regular season is always tough because there's generally a number of firings, both head coaches and general managers. And yeah, it's tough because on one hand, it's great entertainment. It's great fodder for football fans, as well as nothing energizes a fan base and gives them hope more than head coach, you gone, GM, you gone. The new guys are going to hoist a dozen Drombardis in the next 10 years. But also, on the other hand, it's like these guys are human, and these are dream jobs being flushed down the drain, and these are families having to move, kids having to leave their schools, and it sucks. But there's a balance there. Like, I mean, it is part of the business, and this is the profession that they chose. You're hired to be fired in the NFL, not for long, but also treat him with respect and humanity. I think it's important, right? So going around right now, it's been a rather quiet Black Monday. A couple firings already took place ahead of the end of the regular season. So Josh McDaniels, Dave Ziegler are out in Las Vegas, and I think Antonio Pierce should get the job. I think AP is a leader of men. I think that the Raiders, frankly, should have hired Rich Bisaccia last time before the stupid Josh McDaniels thing. But you know that the Raiders are going to take a big-time swing going after Jim Harbaugh. So we'll see. The Panthers, who would want this Panthers job? I know there's only 32 gigs, but if you're the GM, you don't have the number one overall pick. I mean, yes, you have a high second-round pick, woohoo. But I mean, your stars are free agents. I mean, Derek Brown and Burns, but I don't know. And you're saddled with Bryce Young. You probably have the worst owner in professional sports. So I don't know. Also, the GM Scott Fritter got canned today. Then also you have Brandon Staley, Tom Telesco. Both of them got fired mid-season after the debacle of losing to the Raiders, just getting shellacked. Just getting schwacked, man. It's fun, man. But really only two head coaching moves today. Arthur Smith got the axe after 3 seasons in Atlanta. Now, Arthur Smith's main issue was he had all of his talent. They suck all of this draft capital into Drake London and Kyle Pitts and Bijan Robinson, and he refused to use any of them. Like his number one guys on offense were Jonnu Smith and Tyler Algier, which I couldn't develop the quarterback, and it was just a mess. And I feel like Arthur Smith was just like super arrogant about everything, man. Like he invented football, or like his dad is a billionaire. I don't know. Maybe it's both. Who knows? Ron Rivera. So I always respect Ron. I think that he's a good head coach. I think he's a good man, but it clearly wasn't working in 4 seasons in Washington. And I feel like Rivera was hired to be just sort of a fall guy, just sort of a bridge guy. The last years of Daniel Snyder, and then this year after Harris and Magic Johnson and their group took over, I felt like he was just like riding things out. And Ron did a great job with the Panthers, took them to a Super Bowl back in the day, and I think Ron Rivera is a good man. I think he's a good coach, but yeah, it was time. It's time for a change in Washington. And also they're, of course, tied to Harbaugh and Ben Johnson and all that stuff, so there you go. A couple areas a couple of jobs are up in the air. So Bill Belichick, he had his end of season presser. I love that Belichick's such a dick where he always messes with the media. Like if they ask him a stupid question, he gives them the stare or the Ron Cincinnati thing. He scheduled his end of season press conference at 7:30 for the beat writers, which I mean, in the real world, it's not really that early, but in the sports world, that's super early. But Belichick talked about how he would be willing to give up GM control and potentially stay. He mentioned that he's under contract several times. I don't know. So I think that they're still going to turn the page in New England, but Belichick will be a hot commodity for a bunch of these job openings very shortly. Then you got Mike McCarthy, where I mean, Jerry Jones is Jerry Jones. And even though McCarthy has won 12 games in multiple seasons, in 3 seasons for the first time in Cowboys history, which is kind of impressive. Like going back through Landry and Jimmy Johnson, that's never been done. It's crazy, man. But McCarthy, it feels like he has to make some headway in the playoffs. It feels like he has to win at least multiple playoff games, or maybe they make a change. And you could say that that's crazy, sure, but I mean, don't you think Jerry Jones would love Belichick? Don't you think Jerry Jones would love Harbaugh? I mean, Jerry Jones would just want to shake things up, just shake things up. I don't know. With Andy Reid, so obviously he's not in any danger of getting fired, but there's starting to be some reports that Andy Reid could retire after the season, win, lose, or draw. So that could certainly be interesting and potentially shake things up. Oh, you know who's going to take over? Matt Nagy, fake-ass Brad Childress. That'd be great. That'd be great, man. Also in New Orleans. So it's clear that Dennis Allen's lost his team. Like, hey, if your players are overriding your play calls and just like, we're supposed to kneel, we're just going to give Jamal Williams a touchdown. And obviously there's a divide there with Derek Carr and Jameis Winston. I feel like most of the locker room actually wants Jameis. And frankly, I think that he would have given them the better chance to win. But I mean, the Saints may just hang on to Dennis Allen because next year is going to be biblically bad. They're $72 million over the cap. They have a lot of dead cap that they can't get out of. So it's not like a cap is a miss situation. They've literally painted themselves into a corner with a lot of bad contracts, especially the Derek Carr one. So they may just hang on to Dennis Allen because next year is going to be a lost season anyway, and then start fresh with next off season with a new head coach. Who knows? Nick Sirianni, so the Eagles started out 10-1. They finished up 11-6, which is rough, man. But there's always a shocker. All right, there's always a couple shockers, and it actually seems like a couple of dudes have saved their jobs. But I feel like Sirianni, just with some potential infighting with Howie, I mean, it's like going back with Doug. I mean, personalities clash, and also Philly, the culture. It's all about being in your face and being abrasive. So Nick Sirianni is certainly all of that. So could it be a spot where if the Eagles get boat raced by the Buccaneers in the wild card round, could Sirianni be gone? It's possible, man. And they got Mike Vrabel. So, I mean, the Patriots, if they're going to make a change from Belichick, I think it's like 90% it's going to be Mike Vrabel. So he's out of contract with the Tennessee Titans. Titans aren't going anywhere anytime soon. The Patriots have the number 3 overall pick. And, of course, Vrabel, Patriots legend. I mean, hell, during the Tennessee Titans bye week, he was up watching the Patriots game in the suite, doing some like Patriots reunion thing. Him and Bob Kraft obviously have a good relationship. So I think that Vrabel could be on the move. And guys that appear to be safe. So Rob Salah running down the wing. And GM Joe Douglas, a.k.a. White Suge Knight, appear safe with the Jets. They shouldn't have to pay for Rodgers' hubris. So I think Rob Salah is a good football coach. I think Joe Douglas is an adequate GM. So we'll see what happens there. Sean McVay, again, it's like Andy Reid is not in any danger of being fired. But Sean McVay last year, remember, it was all the will he, won't he, will he retire, will he do Amazon TV? But McVay confirmed that he's going to be back next year. And also, I believe that the Rams can make a little bit of a run. I mean, because, going through and just like, hey, you scared of the Lions? No. It could be great, man. And then also the Sean McDermott, Sean McDermott, when they were 5-5 and, firing Ken Dorsey and throwing everyone under the bus, it looked like it was bad. But, I mean, after that story about he was motivating his players, talk about Al-Qaeda and 9/11, I mean, the Bills are rolling. So, I don't know. Like, they're, 5-1, 6-1 since then? Something crazy like that. But McDermott seems to appear to have saved his job by winning the division. The Bears seems like they're running it back with Eberflus Toilet as well as Ryan Poles. So Poles will have another chance to screw up the number 1 overall pick 2 years in a row. Congratulations. Daboll appears safe with the Giants. It would have been stupid if the Giants fired Daboll. But Daboll did fire his O-line coach as well as special teams coordinator, I believe. I like Brian Daboll a lot, despite what his stupid-ass team did to the Vikings last playoffs. And remember getting ready for the playoffs? That was nice. And also Todd Bowles win the division for the 3rd year in a row. I feel like the Bucs are weird because you almost want to tear everything down and rebuild, but Bowles has been coaching some good ball, and Baker Mayfield is actually looking good. So maybe they just build around Baker. I don't know, man. But I mean, initially, like mid-season, there was talk that there could be a record number of openings, but it's been pretty muted so far. So far, there's only 5 head coaching openings. There's going to be more, and again, there's always a surprise or two. Basically, I mean, teams are just like, we're good now, but if someone else comes along that values loyalty more, we'll be more loyal to them, or something like that. Anyways, that's it. Let's take a look at the moves and grooves around the league, the Black Monday coaching tracker. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skol, production value.